So, last class or last few weeks, we have been discussing the fight between Indra and Vrutrasuras, or the Devatas and the Asuras. Finally, Indra killed Vrutrasura, fulfilling the request of Vrutrasura, and as a result of that, the sinful reaction of killing a Brahmana's son chased after Indra. For his own safety, Indra went to Manasarovar and hid himself within the tubes of a flower plant inside the lake of Manasarovar, wherein the sinful reaction, the personified form of a old lady, could not enter. And Indra stayed there for 10,000 years or something like that, during which King Nausha became the Indra, and because of some reason, he also fell down and became Python. And at the end of these 10,000 years, by the request of the great sages, Indra came out of the waters, being protected by Lord Shiva, Mother Parvati, and Mother Lakshmi. He was not touched by that old lady representing the sinful reaction of the killing a Brahmana. Indra performed Ashwamedha and went back to Swarga and resumed his position as the king of heaven. So that pastime is completed. But after hearing this entire pastime, Parikshit Maharaj becomes astonished. How is it that a jiva in the body of Asura can exhibit such kind of wonderful symptoms of a pure devotee? So he makes an inquiry. So the answer to that inquiry goes through another 3-4 chapters. Chapter 14, 15, 16, 17. The 4 long chapters explain the previous life of Vrutrasura as King Citraketu. So we'll discuss these things in the upcoming classes. Now, the 14th chapter describes how King Citraketu, by the mercy of devotees, obtained a son whose birth caused happiness and whose death caused distress. This chapter talks about all these different things. This is a long chapter, 61 verses. We can see all the different themes are explained in this chapter. So basically, about the previous life of Vrutrasura. Who was he in his previous life? And how did he become Vrutrasura? And how could he exhibit such kind of divine qualities of a pure devotee? There is a background. So Parikshit Maharaj makes his inquiries in the first 7 verses. Sri Parikshit Uvacha.
Sri Parikshit Uvacha.
Rajastamas Swabhavasya.
Rajastamah Swabhavasya.
Brahman Vrutrasya Papmana.
Brahman Vrittasya Papmanah.
Narayane Bhagavate.
Narayane Bhagavati.
Katam Asidrudamati.
Katham Asidridhamati. King Parikshit inquired from Shukadev Goswami, O learned Brahmana, demons are generally sinful, being obsessed with the modes of passion and ignorance. How then could Vritrasura have attained such exalted love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan?
Katam Asidrudamati. O Brahmana, since he was sinful with a nature of Rajas and Tamas, how could Vrutrasura have firm attachment to Lord Narayana? So being sinful and being endowed with Rajoguna and Tamoguna are the qualities of Asuras. Because since he was born as a Asura and he was heading the Asuras, this is normal understanding that Asura means is like this. So though he was expected to be like that, but he was not like that. Instead, he displayed strong attachment to Lord Narayana. How is this possible? This is the question. Parikshit Maharaj wants to understand the previous state of Vrutrasura. Devanam Shuddha Sattvanam. Hare Krishna. Someone. Rishinam Chamalatmanam.
ऋषीणां चामलात्मनां
Bhaktir Charane
भक्तिर्मुकुन्दचरणे
Na Praye No Pajayate.
न प्रायेण उपजायते. Demigods situated in the moods of goodness and great saint, cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment, hardly ever render pure devotional service at the lotus feet of Mukunda.
So Parikshit
Therefore,
Maharaj, yes.
therefore, how could Vritrasura have become such a great devotee?
So Parikshit Maharaj is astonished that even though devatas who are supposed to be in Shuddhastava platform and who are rishis who are supposed to be Amalatmanas, even they cannot display such kind of bhakti. Here Vritrasura, who is an asura, displaying such kind of bhakti, which is hard to see among the Shuddhastava devatas and Amalatma rishis. So this is the question. Bhakti to the Lord's lotus feet rarely develops even in the devatas with minds in Sattva and in pure sages. But here Uttarasura is manifesting that. How? How come? That is the question. Jnana develops on its own after purification of Antakarana. But this is not so with Bhakti. Since without association of devotees, Bhakti does not appear. Parikshit Maharaj says that even by own endeavors, with the purification of Antakarana, Manbuddhi, Ahankara, Chetana, one can develop pure Jnana. But one cannot develop Bhakti without the association of pure devotees. When did Vritrasura had the association of pure devotees? So this is the question. Rajobihi samasankyata
रजोभिः समसङ्ख्यातः
parthivairiha jantavaha
पार्थिवैरिह जन्तवः
tesham ye kanchane hante kechane
तेषां तेषां ये केचने हन्ते
shreyo vai manujadaya.
श्रेयो वै मनुजादया. In this material world, there are as many living entities as atoms. Among these living entities, a very
Your voice is gone, Mataji.
among the living entities, very few are human beings, and among them, few are interested in following religious principles.
So now, from this verse onwards, for the next 3, 4 verses, he kind of explains the Bhagavad Gita verse. If you remember that, Manushyanam sahasreshu kachit yata siddhave yatatam siddhanam kachin mam ved tattah. That same verse comes in 3, 4 verses in an elaborate way. So here he is telling that Rajobir samasankyata parthivairiya jantava. In this material world, there are many living entities as atoms. Raja means Raja, like earth particles. Just like as many sand particles are there on the surface of the earth, that many living entities are there all around. But among all these living entities, a few are human beings, are devatas. So, of course, there are so many living entities, which includes the plants, animals, insects, aquatics, everything. They are as big as their count is as big as the number of dust particles or sand particles on the surface of the earth. But among the unlimited living entities, there are few are human beings or devatas. And among the few human beings and devatas, few practice dharma. Not that everyone practice dharma. Among them, some are human devatas, gandharvas, but not all. But among them, only some follow dharma. So there are so many living entities, but among them human beings are very few. But there are so many human beings, but among all the human beings, some follow dharma. So like that. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchit yatasiddhaye. Among thousands of human beings, few people practice dharma to attain perfection. So something like that. So what? So some follow dharma. Among the followers of dharma, what is happening? Prayo mumukshi vastesham.
प्रायो मुमुक्षुवस्तेषां
केचनैव द्विजोत्तमा
केचनैव द्विजोत्तमा
मुमुक्षूणां सहस्रेषु
मुमुक्षूणां सहस्रेषु
कश्चिन्मुच्येत सिद्ध्यति.
कश्चिन्मुच्येत सिद्ध्यति. O best of the Brahmanas, Shukadeva Goswami, out of many persons who follow religious principles, only a few desire liberation from the material world. Among many thousands who desire liberation, one may actually achieve liberation, giving up material attachment to society, friendship, love, country, home, wife, and children. And among many thousands of such liberated persons, one who can understand the true meaning of liberation is very rare.
O best of the Brahmanas, out of those follow Dharma, only a few desire liberation. Among many thousands who desire liberation, one person becomes a Jivan Mukta. And out of many such Jivan Muktas, only one attains the spiritual world. With echo, kitna going into details. So, out of those follow Dharma, only a few desire liberation. People follow Dharma. They say, we want to follow Dharma, Punya, so that we can go to Swarga. So majority want to go to Swarga only, or majority want to get good returns, good birth in a aristocratic family, this, that. But only few desire to attain liberation. So among many thousands who desire liberation, one person becomes a Jivan Mukta. Out of 1,000, one person may become Jivan Mukta. Matlab, almost perfected. And out of many such Jivan Muktas, few attain spiritual world. It is like that. Muchyeta means becomes a Jivan Mukta. And this last point, Kachin Mutyeta Siddhati. So among them, among many Jivan Muktas, some attain Vaikuntha or some attain liberation. So that point is elaborated in the next verse. Muktanam api siddhanam
Muktanam api siddhanam
Narayana Parayana
Narayana Parayana
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Sudurlabha Prashantatma
Kotishvapi Mahamune.
Koteshvapi Mahamune. O great sage, among many millions who are liberated and perfect in knowledge of liberation, one may be a devotee of Lord Narayan or Krishna. Such devotees who are fully peaceful are extremely rare.
So among the Muktas and Siddhas which are mentioned in the previous verse, one among the Koti will become Narayana Parayana. It's not that becoming Narayana Parayana is not so easy. O great sage, greater than those who are Jivan Muktas and greater than those who attain liberation is the devotee of Lord Narayana. Muktanam api siddhanam. Mukta means Jivan Mukta. Siddha means who attains Sahaja Mukti. And Narayana Parayana is Kotishvapi Mahamune. So one among the Koti, such Koti, Muktas and Siddhas, one is Narayana Parayana. And what is the specialty of such devotee? Such a devotee who is in Shanta or other rasas, Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakya, Vasalya or Madhurya rasa, he is very rare, even among 10 million people. Like that. So this is how he is telling that the qualities exhibited by Vritrasura are very, 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 very rare. Even among those who are Muktas and Siddhas. Then what to speak of among the Asuras? But Vritrasura displaying the symptoms. So how is this possible? Please tell me the reason for this. So that is how Parikshit Maharaj is developing the question. So taking the reference of all these 2-3 verses, here the comparison, especially the Siddha, Mukta, Siddhas vis-a-vis Narayana Parayanas. So why Narayana Parayanas are glorified so high vis-a-vis the Muktas and Siddhas. That will be elaborated in the purport. So we'll try to see some notes, some points from the purport. It has been said that among the liberated, one may attain perfection. Among the many Jivan Muktas, one may attain entry into Brahman. Many perform sadhana for liberation, but do not attain liberation. But those who become liberated do not at all become completely perfect. Only some do. For it is said, Jivan Mukta api punar bandhana yanti karmabhi yad achintya mahashanktau bhagavat viparya bhagavat bhagavatyaparadinaha. So even the Jivan Muktas are again become bound by karma if they commit offense to the Lord, possessor of inconceivably great energies. So generally, those who desire to attain moksha, those who become Jivan Muktas, those who become Siddhas, perfected beings, matlab those who attain Sahajya Mukti, all these people, while trying to attain moksha, while trying to attain Sahajya Mukti, sometimes, generally, always they glorify Brahman, but sometimes they deride Bhagavan aspect. Knowingly or unknowingly, some derides the Bhagavan aspect, or some denies the existence of Bhagavan aspect. That is a big offense against Bhagavan. And because of that offense, they will never attain Sahajya Mukti. So, this is the one pitfall, one problem, even in the condition. They may endeavor a lot to attain moksha. They may come to the platform of Jivan Mukta, but still, knowingly or unknowingly, if you commit one mistake, either deriding the existence of Bhagavan or denying the existence of Bhagavan, they will not attain liberation. It is a big problem for Muktas and Siddhas. Those who attain perfection and get liberation attain Sahajya, entering in the Brahman. The devotee of Narayana is rarer than those liberated persons. Compared to the Jivan Muktas and the liberated persons and devotee of Narayana, the devotee of Narayana is rare because of his superiority. Because devotee of Narayana is Narayana Para, is completely surrendered to Narayana, but not to Brahmana or Paramatma, but to Bhagavan. So that has been highlighted here in this section by Parikshit Maharaj himself. Or one can consider in this way. There are two types of jnana, pure and mixed with bhakti. There are two categories of jnanis. Some people practice only pure jnana without any tinge of bhakti in it. Others practice jnana mixed with bhakti. Now there is analysis. What is the destiny of these people? By pure jnana, by the practitioners of pure jnana without any trace of bhakti, those who desire liberation, but such kind of people can never attain liberation. It is like beating empty husks for grains. In the 10th canto, after Brahma Vimohan Leela, when Lord Brahma was offering prayers unto Lord Krishna to pacify Lord Krishna, one of the prayers, it says that Shreya Stitim Bhakti Mudastate Vibho Klishanti Ye Kevala Bodha Labdaye Tesha Masau Kleshala Eva Shishyate Nanya Dyata Stula Tushava Gatinam. So if somebody practices pure jnana without any tinge of bhakti within it, with a desire to attain moksha, they will never ever attain moksha. Why? Their practice of pure jnana without any tinge of bhakti is like beating the empty husk for getting rice grains. For example, after cutting the rice paddy from the earth, there are rice grains are already removed. The empty earth paddy is kept aside. If somebody beats that empty rice paddy, does he ever get rice grains? Not possible at all. So rice paddy is like the jnana, the rice grains are like the bhakti. When the rice grains are connected to rice paddy, the rice paddy has some value. When the grains are removed, the paddy has not much value. Of course, the rice paddy is used to feed the cows and buffaloes, etc. But from the point of view of getting rice grains, it is not at all useful. practicing with jnana alone is like beating the empty rice paddy. One only beating, one becomes tired only, but one does not get any rains because grains already removed. So where does one get rains? So same thing. So it is like that. If somebody want to practice pure jnana with a desire to attain moksha, they will only get exhaustion, but no liberation. Second category of jnanis are those who practice jnana but along with bhakti. So there are also two categories. In that, there are two types. Jnana mixed with bhakti has two types. With bhakti, in which one does not respect the Lord's form, considering his form material, and with bhakti, in which one respects the Lord's form, not considering Lord's form is material. So basically, those who practice jnana with little bhakti are of two types. The first category, so they accept Lord's form, but they say this Lord's form is material like all of us. So you and me also has a material form. So the Lord's form in this world also is a material form. But others who practice jnana with little bhakti, they don't consider Lord's form to be material. So these are the two categories of jnanis who practice jnana along with little bhakti. So now, what is their destiny? By the first type of jnana mixed with bhakti, one will not attain liberation, but one will think one is liberated. Such bhakti destroys ignorance completely, but only partly produces knowledge and then disappears. So people who consider Lord's form to be material, it is made up of three modes of material nature, made up of 24 elements. Even though they may attain purification of their heart, they may attain jnana, they may attain knowledge, but that knowledge does not stay with them for long. In due course of time, it will fade away because they are considering Lord's form to be material. They are again doing offense against the Supreme Lord. Even though they may be practicing bhakti in their daily course of sadhana, because they have offended at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, considering Lord's form to be material, their attained knowledge will not stay with them for long. It will fade away in due course of time. Because the practitioner thinks bhakti must be discarded for attaining liberation. He is practicing bhakti to attain liberation and he gives up bhakti. By the way, gives up the worship of the Supreme Lord in due course of time. If one continues practice of bhakti, one continues the worship of the Supreme Lord, so one may develop attraction toward the Supreme Lord, one may develop the acceptance of form's existence, but in due course of time he gives up immediately. So he has no chance of getting attracted to Supreme Lord. So like that. But without bhakti, a person cannot attain complete knowledge of Brahman. Then what to speak of Bhagavan? Thus, he cannot attain Brahman. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, section number 11 and 12. It is like Mogasha Moga Karmano, Moga Jnana Vichetsa, Rakshasi Masurim Chaiva, Prakriti Mohinim Shrita. That was one verse. And other verse is Avajananti Mam Muda Manushim Tanumashritam. Param Bhava Majananto Mam Lokoyam Ajamavayam. These were the two verses from Bhagavad Gita chapter 9. If a person is of this mentality, it is very difficult. Even though they may practice bhakti, some part of bhakti during their sadhana, but because they don't have good impression about the Lord's form, that bhakti will fade away, and whatever knowledge they attained by the strong tapasya also will fade away in due course of time. The same thing is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. Yenya Aravindaksha Vimuktamanina Tvayashta Bhava Davishuddha Buddhaya Haruya Krishrena Param Padam Tata Patanti Yado Anadrita Yushmadangraya. Because they have not respected Lord's lotus feet, Anadrita Yushmadangraya. Even though they may think that they have attained liberation, they have attained perfection, but they will not attain liberation. That is only in their imagination. So, from Bhagavatam point of view, from devotee's point of view, any trace of offense towards Lord's existence, Lord's existence as Bhagavan, or Lord's devotees, or Lord's bhakti, does not allow the practitioner of jnana or ashtanga yoga or nishkama karma yoga to attain liberation. So one should be very, 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 very careful not to perform any offense against Bhagavan, bhakti, or bhakta. And that is much more important for a devotee. If it is so important even for the jnanis and yogis and karmis, then what to speak of devotees? So devotees also should be very, very, very careful in regards to this particular thing. So because they perform this offense because of this reason. Avajananti mamuda manushin tanumashita. They consider Lord to be among one of the human beings. This is the problem. Because they see the Lord among the human beings and they consider Lord to be human being. That's where, even though they may have so many desires, mogasha, mohakarmano, mohjnana, vichitsa, rakshasi, masurim, chaiva, prakriti, mohinim, shrita. Because their mentality has been bewildered by prakriti, the material nature. They may endeavor very hard while practicing their karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti. Even the devotees who consider Lord's form to be material, made of matter, the so-called devotees, they will also fall down from their so-called practices. So one should be careful in relation to Bhakti, Bhagavan, and Bhakta. The fools desire me in this human form, not knowing that I am the great Lord of the Brahman, higher than all else. Among those who cannot distinguish this truth, those who are devotees do not enter Salokya. Mogasha. Even though the devotees who had a desire to go to Vaikuntha, but if they have this concept, they will never attain Salokya. Moha karmano. Those who are karmis do not attain their material fruits, such as going to Vargaloka. Moha jnana vichasa. And those who are jnanis do not attain liberation. Instead, they assume the nature of Rakshasas and Asuras. Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva, Prakritim Mohinim Shrita. So even one may be Karma Yoga practitioner, one may be Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga practitioner, one may be Bhakti Yoga practitioner, one should be careful for this. Otherwise, all our endeavors are simply a wasted labor. They are like beating the empty husk with a desire to get rice grains. The meaning of the Gita verse is as follows. Fools disrespect me for having a human form. Seeing all humans with a human material body, they think that my body is also made up of matter. In this way, they disrespect me. What is my human body? It is the best existence. It is my best existence, made up of Vishuddha Sattva. That's why it is called Param Bhavam. It is the supreme cause, Maheshwaram, of all the jivas from Brahma to the grass. This human body which I have accepted is the cause of all objects made of Prakriti. If they are my devotees, but think in this way, then all their desires to attain me are useless. If they are karmis, then all their karmas become useless and they do not attain Swarga. If they are jnanis, then the jnana becomes useless and they do not attain liberation. All one's endeavors are simply wasted labor. Then one may ask question, but they are working very hard. Then what do they attain? They are born in the wombs of Asuras and Rakshasas. Because they have performed a grave offense against me. That's what it happens to them. So this is the result of the first type of jnana mixed with bhakti. Even though they have little bhakti, but they are considering Lord's form to be material. That's why they do not attain liberation. And finally, the second category of the jnanis, the second type of jnana mixed with bhakti, which believe in the form of the Lord after the destruction of Vidya, since Vidya is also a cause of bondage. By bhakti devoid of any mixture of jnana, which does not disappear, a person realizes Brahman and then attains Brahman. It is said in Bhagavad Gita, the 18th chapter, the 2 verses 54-55. These verses depict a jnana practitioner with bhakti with the understanding and with the acceptance that the Lord's form is not at all material, but it is completely spiritual, Sachidananda Swarupa. Only they realize Brahman and attain Brahman at the end by the practice of such bhakti till the last point. Because their practice of jnana or their practice of Ashtanga Yoga had to be given up during their practice. Because that practice of jnana, practice of Ashtanga Yoga belongs to Sattva-guna practices. Only bhakti belongs to Nirguna practice, beyond 3 gunas. It is a practice beyond 3 gunas. Only bhakti can take one beyond 3 gunas. So like that. Brahmabhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Just like in this verse, Parishit Maharaj is saying that muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prashantatma kotishvapi mahamuni. Sudurlabha paran prashantatma. So prasannatma is like prashantatma. Skanda person is very rare. So after coming to the Jivan Mukta platform, after Siddhi platform, one has to give up one's practices such as Jnana or Ashtanga Yoga. Then, with the remaining Bhakti practice, one realizes Brahman and one attains Brahman. That is what is mentioned in the next sloka. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yas chasmi tatvataha. Only by Bhakti one understands me tatvataha. What kind of understanding one attains? Tato mam tatvato jnatva. Some attain me, some understand me as Tat Brahman, some understand me as Bhagavan. As a result of that, Vishate Tadanantaram. And those who want to enter into Tat or Brahman, they enter into Brahman. Or those who want to enter into Vaikuntha, they enter into Vaikuntha. So both are possible according to their liking. Having attained the state of Brahman, he does not lament in loss, nor does he desire, and looks upon all beings as equal. He then manifests Prema Bhakti. Only by Bhakti can a person know me as Brahman. Then by that Bhakti, one enters Brahman. So this is the final result one attains. By not considering Lord's form to be material, by not performing any offense against Bhagavan, Bhakti or Bhakta. However, among those who gain perfection, at the beginning of realizing Brahman, some person may attain pure bhakti by the mercy of some pure devotee, pure bhakta. Then, by gaining the sweetness of bhakti, he will find merging in Brahman as entering into Brahman as tasteless, but instead surrenders to the Lord and goes to Vaikuntha. In this way, Bhagavatam verse can be explained. If the devotee giving mercy as Shanta Bhakti, here it is said, by the mercy of some pure Bhakta, one attains Vaikuntha. So the details of this pure Bhakta are mentioned. If this pure Bhakta who is giving his causeless mercy upon the practitioner, if the devotee giving mercy as Shanta Bhakti, then the recipient obtains Shanta Bhakti. Similarly, if the giver has Dasa Bhakti, the recipient will get Dasa Bhakti. If the giver has Vatsalya Bhakti, the recipient will get Vatsalya Bhakti. If the giver has Sakya or Prema Bhakti or Madhurya Bhakti, the recipient will get Sakya Bhakti or Madhurya Bhakti. Since such Bhakti is rarely attained, the word thousands is not used. Instead, Koti is used. Koti means 10 million. Kotishvapi Mahamuni is used in this verse. So this is how this verse has been explained in order to highlight the position of bhakti among all such practices such as karma, jnana, yoga, etc. So it is like that. Hare Krishna, all of you are able to follow this verse? Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Yeah, quite hectic, but you explained it very nicely. But Prabhuji, there are three things like means jnanis those who aspire to merge in the Brahman. Merging the Brahman is their goal, and whatever tinge of bhakti is there that they use as a means to achieve that goal. But but those who are having faith in the Lord's form, means those who are having bhakti and then having faith in the Lord's form, if that form they think is non-material, then only they will achieve their goal as a merging in Brahman. But
Yes.
if they feel that the form is material, then their goal will not be attained like that. No?
Perfect.
And Prabhuji, like here, I think one slide previous, it was mentioned that if the karmis or if the jnanis or the bhaktas, whomsoever thinks, this one. This thing that whomsoever thinks that Lord's form is made of material things, then all their endeavors will be useless. Means bhaktas, bhakti will not be fructified. Karmis will not be attend anything, and even the Gyanis will not attend like that. And
Yes.
this statement, na, they are born in the wombs of Rakshasas. This is for all of three, na, Prabhuji, that Karmi, Jnani, and
Yeah. Anyone who considers Lord's form to be material, the offense is so grave, so that's why it is spoken in that cautious way.
but Prabhuji, like for Karmis, it is understood they have not developed only the bhakti. For Jnanis also, they are endeavoring on their own. But why Bhakta will have such a understanding that Lord's form is material?
So generally bhaktas will not have, even if a devotee have this kind of thing, they will lose all their endeavors. So it is a cautionary verse. It is not that some bhakta had that problem, that's why he fell down. Even if a devotee by chance had this kind of mentality, if a devotee develop this kind of mentality, so don't think that okay, I'm practicing bhakti, so I'll attend Pratishtha. Not like that. Even if a devotee also should be very careful.
Oh, it's
Never
like a
ever.
compulsory statement there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
And one
cautionary.
last, yeah. And one last thing, Prabhuji, like here this Brahmabhuta person who has attained the Brahmabhuta state and Jivan Mukta state, and one who attains liberation, all three same, Prabhuji, or they
No. The Brahmabhuta platform or Jivan Mukta platform, it is a state of the person even while in this material world. One attained liberation means one has gone out of this world and entered into Brahman.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So,
One second.
Prabhuji, can you repeat what you said?
The position of one as a Jivan Mukta or on Brahmabhuta platform means that person is still in this material world. So I will tell you. So normally how to understand this? We have three modes. Currently, we have some Tattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamaguna. When a person comes to the point of 100% Tattva-guna, 0% Rajoguna, 0% Tamaguna, by the practice of any sadhana, one is called as Jivan Mukta. He is living in this material world. He is still Jivan. He is still alive. But he had no traces of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. He only had Sattva-guna. And the Sattva-guna is also 100%. Now, he is one step before entering into Shuddha Sattva. So this is like the topmost point of the material existence. He is called Jivan Mukta or Brahmabhuta platform. So one step he puts further, he enters into Shuddha Sattva. And there, he has nothing to do with this material world. And he goes back to spiritual world or Brahman. So before going there, the state of one's existence while in this material world is called Jivan Mukta platform.
Okay. So Jivan Mukta and Brahmabhuta are the same thing, na,
Same.
Prabhuji? Okay. And the one who attains liberation, like one who attains Ayodhya Mukti also, all those are on the platform of Shuddha Sattva. Is it
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. Even as I mentioned, Brahman platform and Jivan Mukta also, like 100% Sattva Guna, 0% Rajoguna, 0% Tamaguna. They are all Shuddha Sattva platform, but we cannot call them a Shuddha Sattva. So they are on the border. They are on the line. If you go one step ahead, you enter into Shuddha Sattva, the arena of Shuddha Sattva. And if you step one step backward, you enter into the three modes arena. You are on the border. That's why you are called as Jivan Mukta. You are still Jivit, but you are Mukta.
Okay. So they are on the borderline. Means they can
on
go
the line.
either way, depending on which way they means
Yeah.
they
So at this point, they have to give up their Jnana practice, Ashtanga Yoga practice. Then they enter into Shuddha Sattva Patham and they should practice Bhakti. So with that practice of Bhakti, having given up Jnana or Ashtanga Yoga, they will realize the two aspects of absolute truth, Brahman or Bhagavan. So with their realization, they become attracted to one of the two. And they go to the one of the two. And by the causeless mercy of some devotee, they may become attracted to Bhagavan. And then they will enter into Vaikuntha. Or if they have not so much bestowed by the mercy of a devotee, they will be attracted to Brahman and they will enter into Brahmajyoti. So it is like that.
But then, Prabhuji, from the Shuddha Sattva platform of Brahman, in Brahman, like Sayajamurti. So from there, means there are no modes, na? So then why does a person means degrades from there and comes to material world? Like it was said in that.
No. We are not saying they will come back to material world. No one comes.
But it was mentioned in that shloka that Arya Krutchena Patanti Adho. Like
No, that is for the second, the first type of the jnani, not for this person. You are not following the flow. That Arya Krishnena Param Padam Tata is for the other person. So this person, see, Bhakti mixed with Jnana mixed with Bhakti has two types. The first person with Bhakti in which one does not respect the Lord's form. Such person will come back. He will never attain liberation only. What to speak of coming down? Anadru Vishnurangaraya Patanti Yada. Yene Arvindaksha Vimukta Mananas. He thinks that he has become Vimukta. He thinks that he has become Jivan Mukta. He does not even become Jivan Mukta, then what to speak of eternal liberation? He only thinks that he has become Jivan Mukta, but they will never become Jivan Muktas.
Okay, so such persons are in the material realm only. They have not yet attained.
They will never attain liberation. They will not even attain Jivan Mukta platform, then what to speak of eternal liberation?
Oh, okay.
They only think. Just like some of us also think that now I have become free from anarthas.
Free from?
Anarthas.
Anarthas.
Sometimes you may think that, oh, now I have practiced bhakti for so many decades. Now I have become free from anarthas. Now I am perfected. Now I am on the platform of Bhava. One may say like that. But it is not so. It is not so easy. Just by saying one does not come to the Bhava platform. So it is like that.
Thank you.
Other devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, when these jivas, if they have to attain Sayujya, it means they merge into the Brahman.
No, it is okay. One way is saying that they merge into Brahman. We have discussed this concept many times. Entering into Brahman means, so just like we have 5 muktis, just like we have 4 other muktis, Brahman is also other mukti. So Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Sarishti and Sayujya. Okay?
Yes.
So just you understand other 4 muktis.
Yes.
Salokya means you enter into Vaikuntha. Sarishti means you also have the same
I was just wondering that the soul is insoluble. It has so many qualities that how can it mix with Brahman?
That's what I'm telling now. I'll give you an example. So now we have Mumbai. In Mumbai, we have 3 parts. One is central Mumbai, suburban Mumbai, and the surroundings of Mumbai after Kalyan. Kalyan, Dombivli, if you cross that while coming towards Pune, you have the mountain area and forest area.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So in central Mumbai, all the way from central Mumbai to Gateway of India to Thane. You take all this as central Mumbai, where you are entering into Vaikuntha, you are very Samipya or Sarupya. So you are called as one of the Mumbai personality, and you are busy with all the different hundreds of activities in this area. This is like Samipya or Sarupya. And living in Thane to Kalyan and then Dombivli in this area where you have town, and the town is also spread lightly. This area is called suburban area where you are staying in Vaikuntha, but it's far distant. If you want to see the Lord and serve the Lord, you have to come to Girgaon Chowpatty, or you have to go to Andheri, where you want to have the darshan of the Lord, you want to serve directly serve the Lord.
Yes.
You are still in Vaikuntha, but at a far distant. You can't see the Lord every day. You can only come to temple on Sundays, not every day. That is Sarishti or Salokya. And Brahman means you are staying in the forest area or mountain area. And no one knows that you are there in the forest. You are existing. A person like you is living in this Mumbai. Does no one know, because you are in the forest. You never come to city. You are in the mountain area, forest area, and no one knows your existence. That is called Brahman. Those who go to Brahman, because they don't have any activity to do, they simply sit in the Dhyana Mudra and meditate upon Lord's pastimes.
So there also they are individual souls.
They remain individual. From the point of view of Mumbai people, they say, hey, we don't see him. So I don't think so that he is still living, he is still existing. Like that Mumbai people will say. Because you never go to Mumbai. So it is like that.
So the soul never loses its identity into
soul
the
never
Lord.
loses. So entering into Brahman means entering into forest area. You are there, but you are not seen by anybody outside.
Yes, yes.
So it is like that.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, what is the difference between a Mukta and a Siddha?
Mukta is, here at least in this verse, it is defined as a person who has come to Jivan Mukta platform. The person is still in this material world, but he had lost all the mode of ignorance and mode of passion. So he is on the line. That person is called Jivan Mukta. And Siddha means he had crossed the line and attained perfection. That means he entered into Brahman.
So one is in this material world and other is in the Brahman.
In Brahman, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
That is the difference between them.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in context of current discussion, like you mentioned that Siddhas are those who have already attained the liberation. But then when we say that, we say the upper higher lokana, Jana Loka, Siddha Loka, Tapa Loka,
See,
Mahaloka.
Mataji, the Siddha is a Sanskrit word. It can be used in multiple contexts.
Okay.
And Mukta is also same. Some other times Mukta means one who attained liberation. But here in this particular context, this meaning is taken for this word. And don't compare these Siddhas with others. Those who are there in the Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, we can call them as Jivan Muktas. Though technically they are supposed to be called as Siddhas, because they are still in the material world, they can be called as Jivan Muktas.
Okay. So context wise, we have to understand the meaning. Like, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. In this context, while Parikshit Maharaj is giving a gradation, all living entities, human beings, those who follow Dharma, those who have the desire to attain moksha, those who have come to the platform of Jivan Mukta, and those who attain liberation. And then Narayana Para. So it's like that. Like the word Atma, sometimes it is used to refer to the body. Sometimes it is used to refer to the senses. Sometimes it is used to refer to the mind. Sometimes it is used to refer to Ahankara. And sometimes it is referred to the soul. And sometimes the Atma word is also used to refer to Paramatma or Bhagavan. According to context, we have to see the Sanskrit word is used for what. So like that. Okay, so this is one important aspect in this section. So let us go ahead with the storyline. What's happening? Vrutastu sakatam papa. Vrutrastu katam sakatam papa.
Vritrastu katham papa
Sarvalokopatapana.
sarvalokopatapana
Ittam drudamati Krishna.
itham drudhamati Krishna
Asit sangrama ulbane.
asit sangrama ulbane. Vritrasura was situated in the blazing fire of battle and was an infamous sinful demon, always engaged in giving trouble and anxieties to others. How could such a demon become so greatly Krishna conscious?
Hmm. How did sinful Rudrasura, who caused so much suffering to others, to the entire universe in one sense, become so fixed in Lord Krishna during the raging battle? Even in the midst of the huge battle, he was still fully Krishna conscious. How did most rare bhakti beyond the three gunas exist in a demon like Rudrasura, blinded by the three gunas? So Parikshit Maharaj is asking question, how? How is it possible? When did he receive the mercy of great souls like Narada Muni and all? So like that he's asking. अत्र न संशयो भूयान्
अत्र न संशयो भूयान्
श्रोतुं कौतूहलं प्रभो
श्रोतुं कौतूहलं प्रभो
यः पौरुषेण समरा
यः पौरुषेण समरे
सहस्राक्षम् अतोषयत्.
सहस्राक्षम् अतोषयत्. My dear Lord, Shukadev Goswami, although Vritarasura was a sinful demon, he showed the prowess of a most exalted Kshatriya and satisfied Lord Indra in battle. How could such a demon be a great devotee of Lord Krishna? These contradictions have caused me great doubt, and they have made me eager to hear of this from you.
Oh master, this is my doubt. I am curious to hear about Uttarasura, whose heroism pleased Indra in battle. So like that. So he says that I want to know how come this fellow, how come this person exhibited such a rare devotional qualities, which are very difficult even for the topmost devatas, even for the Hamalatma Rishis. Even Indra says, Indra also said the same thing. Yes, such kind of bhakti is very difficult even among the devatas. Sometimes by special mercy, we have seen such kind of bhakti in Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, even in the people born in the Asura lineage. So Indra appreciated. So you are the third person among the Asura lineage. Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, and Rudrasura. Is the third person. Same thing Parikshit Maharaj is saying here. So now the response. How come Rudrasura exhibited such a rare devotional symptoms? This will go for 4 chapters. The answer will go for 4 chapters. Sri Suta Uvacha.
Srisuta uvacha
Parikshitota Samprashnam.
parikshitosmita samprashnam
Bhagavan Badarayani.
Bhagavan Badarayani
निशम्य श्रद्धानस्य
nishamya shraddhadanasya
प्रतिनन्द्यावचो ब्रवीत्.
pratinandya vacho bravit. Sri Shuta Goswami said, after hearing Maharaj Parikshit's very intelligent question, Shukadev Goswami, the most powerful sage, began answering his disciple with great affection.
श्रीशुक उवाच
Shri Shuka Uvacha
शृणुष्वावहितो राजन्
Shrushva Vahito Rajan
इतिहासम् इमं यथा
Itihasam Imam Yatha
श्रुतं द्वैपायनमुकान्
Shrutam Dvaipayana Mukhan
नारदाद् देवलादपि.
Narada Devaladapi. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, O king, I shall speak to you the same history I have heard from the mouths of Vyasdev, Narad, and Deval. Please listen with attention.
So Sukadeva Goswami is saying that, my dear Parikshit, I have not only heard the story of Vritrasura from my father Srila Vyasdeva, but I have heard the same thing from Narada Muni as well as Devala also. Do you remember verse from Bhagavad Gita? Anyone remember the verse from Deva Bhagavad Gita with these people names?
Arjun says it, no?
Ah,
Ito Devalo Narada Swayam Chaiva.
ah. Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and Swayam Cheva Bravishme. Param Brahma, Parandama, Pavitram, Idamam Bhavan, Paramam Bhavan. So like that. My Lord, your existence, your transcendental situation, we have heard from great sages like Vyasa, Narada, Asita, Devala, and now you himself are saying. So why do I have any doubt about your existence? Like that Arjuna is saying. Same here, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that the story of great devotee Vritrasura I have heard from three people, Vyasadeva, Narada, and Devala. It cannot be ordinary story. I will repeat you the entire story about his background, about his previous life. Please listen with attention. Like that, Sukadeva Goswami is saying. Asid Raja Sarvabhauma. Krishna.
Sorry. Asidraja Sarvabhauma
Suraseneshu Vainrupa.
Shuraseneshu Vainrupa
Citraketur iti kyato.
Citraketu Riti Khyato
Yasyasit Kamadhenum Mahi.
Yasya Sid
Kamadhun.
Kamadhenu Nahi
Kamadhun
Kamadhun Yasya Sid Kamadhun Nahi. O King Parikshit, in the province of Shurasena, there was a king named Citraketu, who ruled the entire earth. During his reign, the earth produced all the necessities for life.
So first, the dharmic nature of the king is being described. Who is this person? Who is this person in the previous life? There was a king in the province of Shurasena. Actually, he is telling a story about someone. At the end, he will tell that someone has become king Vritrasura. That's how the story concludes. We say that I have heard a story from Vyasa, Narada, Devala. In that story, there was a province Surasena and there is a king, Citraketu. He was the ruler of the entire Bhumandala, entire earth. And during his rule, the earth produced all necessities for life. That means he was so religious person. His kingdom was like that of Lord Rama, like that of Yudhishthir Maharaj. And he was ruling over the entire Bhumandala during Chakshusha Manvantara. He was the king during Chakshusha Manvantara period. Tasya bharya sahasranam
Tasya bharya sahasranam
sahasrani dashabhavan
sahasrani dasha bhavan
santanikas nrupo
santanikaschapi nripo
nalebeta susantatim.
nalebhe tasu santatim. This Citraketu had 10 million wives, but although he was capable of producing children, he did not receive a child from any one of them. By chance, all the wives were barren.
Citraketu had 10 million wives, Bharya Sahasranam Sahasrani. But though desiring to produce children, Santanikascha api nalebe tashu santatim. Why did he marry all these wives? With a desire to beget children, but he did not receive a child from any one of them. So somebody may say that he married so many wives because he wanted to enjoy with them. No, not like that. He had 10 million wives. It is mentioned that Bharya Sahasranam Sahasrani Dasha. Sahasranam 1000. Sahasrani Dasha. Dasha means 10. 10,000. 10,000 into 1000. So in that way it is said as 10 million wives. 10 times million. He married them in order to have offspring. Santanikai. Not just for enjoyment. However, Srimad Bhagavatam 4:30-17 says, Divya Varsha Sahasranam Sahasram Ataujasa. Sahasranam Sahasram means 1000 times 1000. But the translation says, with power undiminished for 3000 or few thousands of Devata years. The translation of this particular phrase is Divya Varsha Sahasranam Sahasram means few thousand years. Sahasranam Sahasra means 1000 years. How many? Few means few, many. How many? 3000. So for 3000 Devata years, this is from 30th chapter. The 10 Prachetas had all the opulences. Here the phrase thousands of divine years means 3000. The plural number means 3 according to Kapinjala Labena Nyaya. There was one Nyaya in Sanskrit. So in that way. Whenever in Sanskrit the word comes Sahasranam Sahasra. So you can take it as 3000 also. So now from this context, so how many wives Citraketu had? Sahasranam Sahasrani Dasha. So Sahasranam becomes 3. Dasha Sahasrani becomes 10,000. Then 10,000 into 3. That becomes 30,000 wives. So from one point of view, we may think that he had 10 million wives. From another point of view, he had 30,000 wives. 30,000 wives is a reasonable count. In his lifetime, he could have managed to have such many wives. In Satyayuga, where one lives for normally any living entity lives for 1 lakh years. So in that 1 lakh years, one can marry 30,000 wives by marrying one wife each year. Every year is getting married to a new wife. Then easily one can marry 30,000 wives. So in that way, we can have the other meaning for this verse also. So 10,000 times 3. So like that. Because he was marrying many ladies with a desire to have a child. Because he was a king, he need to have a son who can continue the kingdom. You can continue the legacy. So that was the whole idea. So then what happened? Rupaudaryavayojanma
रूपौदार्यवयो जन्म
Vidyaishwarya Sriyadibihi
विद्यैश्वर्याश्रियादिभिः
Sampannasya Gunai Sarvais
सम्पन्नस्य गुणैः सर्वैः
Chinta Bandhaya Patir Abhut
चिन्ताबन्धारपतेरभूत्
Natasya sorry Natasya Sampada Sarva
न तस्य सम्पदा सर्वा
Mahisho Vamalochana
महिष्यो वामलोचना
Sarvabhaumasya Bhuscheyam
सार्वभौमश्च भूश्चेयम्
Abhavan Priti Hetavaha.
अभवन् प्रीतिहेतवा. Citraketu, the husband of these millions of wives, was endowed with a beautiful form, magnanimity, and youth. He was born in a high family. He had a complete education, and he was wealthy and opulent. Nevertheless, in spite of being endowed with all these assets, he was full of anxiety because he did not have a son. His queens all had beautiful faces and attractive eyes, yet neither his opulence, yet neither his opulences, his hundreds and thousands of queens, nor the lands of which he was the supreme proprietor, were sources of happiness for him.
So, in spite of having 30,000 wives, in spite of having the sovereignty over the entire Bhumandala, in spite of having opulences like that of the Devatas, he was not happy because he did not have children. That is indicated in this verse. Citraketu, though endowed with beauty, magnanimity, youth, high family, education, power, and wealth, being the husband of so many barren wives because of the fate, he was full of anxiety. His wealth, his queens with attractive eyes, Vamalochana, and his control of all lands, Sarvabhaumasya, were not the source of his happiness. They are not at all the happy causes for the king. Instead, since he was not having even a one son, was completely in misery. That is the condition of this king. Then a great sage Angira came to his kingdom.
Going to stop reading.
1 second.
Okay.
And he begins to inquire his whereabouts. So that will be explained in the next section. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in previous ages, concept of adoption was not there.
No, you can adopt hundreds of children. That is not an issue. But that adopted children cannot become the king.
Oh, like that.
Ah.
Okay, because we see now that Dasharatha's first daughter was given in adoption to some king like that. Now. So that is
Yeah,
why.
he was given to Romapada, King Romapada, but she did
Yeah.
not become the king, na? She did not become the king of
Right.
that province.
Yeah, right. Hmm. Okay, so for the being a king, means being the higher of the kingdom, the person has to be born from that king itself.
Ah,
Okay. And one more thing, probably like when we talk about Lord Krishna's 16,108 wives, that
Hmm.
them it is always said now that no one can, it is no human can do such thing because to maintain so many wives and to keep them happy is not a easy task. Only Lord can do that, and Lord married them all at a time in all the 16,108 palaces. So,
yes.
like how here we are seeing Citraketu marrying millions of wives, how he managed like that.
See, this we also discussed previously. Either you be with them with everyone, or you don't be with everyone. You don't be with anyone. In both the cases, they will be happy. But if you are somewhere in the middle, you are with someone and you are not with others, then the problem comes. Citraketu was marrying one after the other with a desire to have children. So no wife had any children. And Citraketu was not attached to anyone. So everyone is happy. Because there is no partiality from the point of Citraketu. But when he got a son, then he became attached to one wife. That caused envy in other wives. That is simple.
Okay, because I don't know, but in one sense, I was thinking that all those who must have married Citraketu, knowing that he already has so many wives, somewhere it is accepted by them now that how much time the king will spend with us because he has so many wives. So it's an open fact, like that way I was.
But see, they marry because king, they will become the king's wife, na? King may not
Yeah.
be there, but they are known as king's wife. See, in the past, it is not like today. It is not so much. Even all these additional wives may be from royal order, but may not be from a great royal order. There will be so many Samanta Rajas from their families he might have married. So the Samanta Raja's daughter, so she will be happy. I'll be marrying to Chakravarti Samrat. So in that way,
What is Samanta Raja?
Samanta Raja means small king reporting to the big king. State government reporting to central government, or the district head reporting to the state government.
Okay. Yeah. Because and one more thing, Prabhuji, I don't know, means maybe I'm thinking from the today's perspective, but like that time there was no medical intervention used to be done in such matters because
See,
means
wait. The story is not complete. Don't get into future. He was not destined to have a son. So जितना भी शादी करो कैसे होगा ही नहीं.
that's what I means from doctor's perspective I was thinking, Prabhuji, like means इतना सब
No,
दिख रहा है, so many wives है, तो कहीं तो problem person में है ना, मतलब male part is having problem, that is why so many female होके भी कुछ
प्रॉब्लम है पर कौन बताएगा किंग राजा को.
that is why I was thinking कि कुछ medical
But that problem is not a physical problem. That problem is karma problem.
oh yeah.
It is not a physical problem. Physically is fit. Sometimes Ayurveda doctors also they say. Allopathy doctors never say. If they say they lose money. But Ayurveda doctor will say that. So I am trying to cure you, but this problem may not be cured because it is not a physical or mental problem, but it is karma problem. Ayurveda doctors say sometimes. They understand.
Yeah.
They understand based on symptoms. This is not a curable. You are supposed to go through it. They'll say that. You go through it for 6 months, then it will disappear.
Yeah. In one sense, Prabhuji, like even if the physically diagnosable problem is there, that also is in one sense due to karma only. Na? Because it just means karma manifests in the form of particular disease. But whatever suffering is destined to be there for that soul, that will come through the particular disease.
See,
Sometimes maybe diagnosable.
see, not like that, Mataji. See, karma also, there are 4 karmas. Bijam, Kutam, Prarabdha, Aprarabdha, all those things are there. Some diseases which we are supposed to get, it is predestined in our previous lives only. This life will be suffering so and so big diseases. And regularly also we get fever, cold. That maybe because of that day we ate something which we are not supposed to eat. So we got immediately. That can be cured by your medicine. But if there is some karma disease, whatever cure you may take, one has to go through it. It cannot be cured by any so-called allopathy or homeopathy or Ayurveda medicine.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Hmm.
जो डेस्टिन है वो तो आएगा ही कर्म, तो कभी कभी वो डायग्नोजेबल फॉर्म में दिखेगा, कभी कभी अनडायग्नोजेबल मींस कुछ फिजिकली प्रॉब्लम नहीं है फिर भी.
ओके माता. तस्यैकदा तु भवनम्
तस्य एकदा तु भवनम्
अंगीरा भगवान् ऋषि
अंगीरा भगवान् ऋषिः
लोकान् अनुचरन् एतान्
लोकान् अनुचरन् एतान्
उपागच्छद्यदृच्छया.
उपागच्छत् यदृच्छया. Once upon a time, when the powerful sage named Angira was traveling all over the universe without engagement, by his sweet will he came to the palace of King Citraketu.
Yeah. So Angira Rishi, who generally travel all over, happened to come to King Citraketu's palace. So he did not come by chance, but Paramatma inspired him to come to Citraketu Maharaj's kingdom, so that the future events will unfold. So Lord also kind of क्या इतना कष्ट कर रहे. So destiny does not allow him to have a child, but he is endeavoring a hard struggle, going through hard struggle. So Lord inspired Angira Rishi to go and do something so that the king will stop endeavoring. So that was the whole idea. Paramatma himself sent him to go there. Sampujayitva vidivat
संपूजयित्वा विधिवत्
pratyuttanardhanadibihi
प्रत्युत्थानार्हणादिभिः
कृतातिथ्यम उपासीदत
कृतातिथ्यम् उपासीद
सुखासीनं समाहिता.
सुखासीनं समाहिता. Citraketu immediately stood up from his throne and offered him worship. He offered drinking water and eatables, in this way performed his duty as a host to a great guest. When the rishi was seated very comfortably, the king, restraining his mind and senses, sat on the ground at the side of the rishi's feet.
So when the sage entered into the kingdom, the news came to the king. King went out and received him, washed his feet, offered flowers, offered argya, padya, arati, etc., etc., and removed all the articles of worship and offered some water to drink or something like that. And then silently king sat next to him. Then since the sage came traveling all over the world, the king, the sage, out of courtesy, will inquire, "My dear king, are you happy? Is your kingdom is prosperous? Is your citizens are happy? Is your ministers are happy?" Like that, he will make certain inquiries. So, in spite of having all the inquiries, the king did not respond. Instead, the king was still thinking about not having a child. He was still in gloomy condition. Then the sage asks, "What is the reason for your dissatisfaction?" Then the king replies. That's how the discussion goes. Maharshistam upasinam
Maharshistam upasinam
prashrayavanatam kshitau
prashrayavanatam kshitau
pratipujya maharaja
pratipujya maharaja
samabhashyedamabravit.
samabhashedam abravit. O King Parikshit, when Citraketu bent low in humility, was seated at the lotus feet of the great sage, the sage congratulated him for his humility and hospitality. The sage addressed him in the following words.
So this verse says that the king did not sit on the throne and the simhasan. Instead, he sat on the land next to the great sage. So he had great respect for the sage, but is still thinking about his condition only. The sage was very happy with the humility of the king, and he begins to address. Angira uvacha
Angira uvacha
apite namayam swasti
apite namayam swasti
prakriti nam tatatmana
prakriti nam tathatmana
yata prakriti birgupta
yatha prakriti gupta
puman raja cha saptabhi.
puman raja cha saptabhi. The great sage Angira said, "My dear king, I hope that your body and mind and your royal associates and paraphernalia are well. When the seven properties of material nature, the total material energy, the ego, and the five objects of sense gratification, are in proper order, the living entity within the material elements is happy. Without these seven elements, one cannot exist. Similarly, a king is always protected by seven elements: his instructor, that is Swami or Guru, his ministers, his kingdom, his fort, his treasury, his royal order, and his friends."
So the first thing the Rishi inquiring is, do you have good health, good fortune, and good ministers who support you in all respects? Just as a man is protected by the seven elements, the king is protected by the seven elements. Do you have good health, good fortune, and good ministers? The happiness of the king depends on the happiness of the ministers, and the happiness of the ministers depends on the happiness of the king. Both should be happy. The king should be happy with the minister should be happy with the king, then the kingdom will go on further. An example is given. Just as a jiva is protected by the seven elements, beginning with Mahatattva. What are the seven elements? Mahatattva, Ahankara, and the five Tanmatras. Since he cannot exist for an instance without these elements. So normally, our human body is made up of 24 elements, but it is called as the made up of 7 elements also. Mahatattva, Ahankara, and 5 tanmatras, because ahankara includes mind, buddhi, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, and 5 tanmatras include 5 panchamahabhutas. So in that way, when our body is intact, we are in proper condition. This is one understanding. The other understanding is when we are still alive, when our desires are fulfilled by obtaining the 5 tanmatras, all our desires are fulfilled by obtaining the 5 tanmatras sufficiently, we are protected and we are happy. We are jubilant in this material world from the material point of view. Similarly, a king is protected by the 7 elements. King should have guru. King should have proper ministers to guide him. King should have proper friends to support him. There should be proper treasury, proper citizens who will be dedicated to serving the king, and proper fort which is not destroyed by the opposite kings, and proper strength, the military strength and physical strength, and etc. etc. When these 7 things are there, a king is well protected. So, do you have all these 7 things properly? Like that, the sage is asking the king. In that way. Atmanam prakrutish adha
Atmanam prakriti shraddha
nidaya shreya apnuyat
nidhaya shreya apnuyat
rajna tata prakritayo
rajnya tata prakritayo
naradeva hitadaya.
naradeva hitadayah. O king, O Lord of humanity, when a king directly depends upon his associates and follows their instructions, happy. Similarly, when his associates offer their gifts and activities to the king and follow his orders, they are also happy.
O king, when a king, or O king Parikshit, when a king directly depends upon his associates and follows their instructions, he is very happy. The ministers are there. When ministers give an advice, if the king follows, king will be happy because ministers are like they are in good knowledge. They will help in ruling, governing the kingdom. Similarly, when his associates offer their gifts and activities to the king and follow his orders, they are also happy. So the followers are there. If they follow the orders of the king, they will be happy. If they don't follow, the king will punish them. So in that way, when the king gives all his duties to his ministers, the kingdom is happy. When the king executes all the ruling with the help of the ministers, telling that, so my dear minister, you take care of them, you can, the ministers also have good duties, and the king has the trust on the minister, the ministers have trust on the king. So there is a mutual cooperation and they are happy. O king, ministers who offer wealth, horses and elephants cause of anxiety and greed to the king and protected by the king. So when the ministers also are the small kings in the kingdom, they offer the taxes timely. So they are protected by the king and they are happy. Otherwise, when king comes to know that these people are usurping all the money and all the wealth, king will immediately punish them. Neither king is happy nor the follow subordinates are happy. So in that way. So in some versions of Bhagavatam, this is Ahatadya. So here is that Ahitadayaha. In some versions is the Ahatadayaha. So then the meaning is ministers whose anxieties are destroyed by the king become happy. When the ministers are taken care by the king, they are also very happy. So in that way. So this is how there should be mutual trust and mutual cooperation. Then both the king and the subordinates are happy. Like that. This is the rule, the principle of governing the country. And then the sage further says, Apidara prajamatya
Apidara prajamatya
Rutya Shreyotama Mantrina
Vritya Shrenyotamantrina
Paura Janapada Bhupa
Paura Janapada Bhupa
Atmaja Vastavartina.
Atmaja Vashavartina. O king, are your wives, citizens, secretariats, and servants, and the merchants who sell spices and oil under your control? Are you also in full control of ministers, the inhabitants of your palace, your provincial governors, your sons, and your other dependents?
Yeah. Inside the palace and outside the palace, everyone should be in harmony with the king. Then the kingdom will go happily. So inside the palace, are your wives, citizens, counselors, servants, merchants, and the inhabitants of your palace, ministers, provincial governors, landowners, and sons under your control? Is everyone is in coherence with you? Moreover, if the people obey the king, there is happiness. If some of them are not obeying the king, there will be disturbance to both the king and both the people also. That is the problem. यस्यात्मानुवशश्चेत्स्यात्
यस्यास्मानुवशश्चेत् स्यात्
सर्वे तद् वसगायिमे
सर्वे तद्वशगा इमे
लोका सपालयच्छन्ति
लोकाः सपालयच्छन्ति
सर्वे बलिम् अतन्द्रिता.
सर्वे बलिम् अतन्द्रितः. If the king's mind is fully controlled, all his family members and government officers are subordinate to him. His provincial governors present taxes on time without resistance, and what to speak of lesser servants.
Yeah. If the king's mind is fully controlled and vigilant, everyone and everything is under control, and everyone will pay tribute or taxes timely. So indirectly, it is said that king should be vigilant. That is only possible when the king keeps mind and senses under control. So otherwise, if king is busy hunting and busy and other things and all, then the other people will plot and do so many other things on their own. So like that. So king should be always vigilant. That is the most important quality of a king. Atmana priyatenatma
Atmana priyate natma
parasva parasvata eva va paratasvata eva va
parata swata eva
lakshye labda kamam tvam
lakshaye labdha kamam tvam
chintaya sabalam mukam.
chintaya shabalam mukham. O King Citraketu, I can observe that your mind is not pleased. You seem not to have achieved your desired goals. Is this because of you yourself, or has it been caused by others? Your pale face reflects your deep anxiety.
O King Citraketu, your mind is not pleased due to yourself or others. My dear king, I see some kind of disturbance in your heart. Is it by your own? Is it because of some problem within yourself or with somebody else is causing you problem? I see that your face is pale with worry because of not achieving your desires. So when the sage asked, the mind in your body is not happy because of yourself or someone else. The king says, no, no, my dear sage, it is not like that. I am happy. The sage says, no, no. I see that your face is pale. You are not happy. Please tell me the reason. What is the reason for your unhappiness? So, like that, the sage requests the king again and again. Then the king responds. So, before seeing the king's response, we will take some small break and then we'll continue. Even if some devotees have some questions, we'll take after the break. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Devotees are there.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Any questions from any devotees till now? Based on the discussion till now?
No, Prabhuji, no question.
Other devotees?
No, Prabhuji.
Haribol Prabhuji,
Yes, ma'am.
I was just thinking, when we are talking about this particular king and also always the other kings from Bhagavatam. So when we study Bhagavatam, we feel that monarchy was always a better choice. When exactly democracy came into picture, and like we know what's happening with the democracy in our country. So slightly, I was just thinking about it. If it's not relevant, don't answer. It's okay.
No, man. Recent history only, na. Recent till 1947 king monarchy was there, in one sense. Because the monarchy, these people have exploited everyone else. So people be fed up. So actually, this democracy thing not started in India, but we can see this, this capitalism, communism.
Yeah.
These are all very much not only this exploitation. What is not only in India, it was everywhere, all over the world. So people everywhere they got fed up with this monarchy. Either people wanted capitalism or communism or democracy. So we have some countries with democracy, some countries with capitalism, some countries communism, all over the world now.
So coming of democracy is only because they were not proper rulers. Is that the reason?
Because the ruler community exploited others. India is the in history we can see that example.
I'm not sure. I know the kings who were bad.
Even Bhagavatam itself says that. Kali Yuga, even though there may be rulers, but they may not be fully dharmic. Even though some trace of dharma was there in the rulers, only till the time of Mahapadmananda. Before Mahapadmananda, at least the Kshatriya lineage was kind of protected properly. Whatever Varna Sankara Arjuna predicted in Bhagavad Gita, at least in the monarchy, the first Varna Sankara was Mahapadmananda.
Achha.
And he kind of destroyed all the royal monarchy. When Mahapadmananda was there, he kind of killed all the religious kings. He was Varna Sankara, but he was so powerful, no one could stand in front of him.
Achha.
So Mahapadmananda and then his sons, 8 sons, ruled for almost 150 years or something like that. Afterwards, Chanakya was seeing all these atrocities by these people, Mahapadmananda and his 8 sons. So Chanakya trained Maurya, Chandragupta Maurya, and Chandragupta Maurya, all these kings. So like that, again there is a kind of in between we have seen some good kings, but more or less the continuation of kings who are good was lost at this point of time, about 2500 years back. Not today's thing. About 3000 years back, we can say Chandragupta Maurya is like very old person, almost 3000 years back. So in that way, from there on, atrocities have begun and exploitation has begun with Mahapadmananda and all, and it has become rampant when Mughals started exploiting others, Mughals, Ghaznavis, and all these things, people, and Britishers. It is like foolproof. Openly they did. So it is like that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
We'll go ahead. Evam vikalpito rajan.
Evam vikalpito rajan.
Vidusha maninapisha.
Vidusha munina pisaha.
Prashraya vanato bhyaha.
Prashraya vanato bhyaha.
Praja kamastato munim.
Raja kamastato munim. Shukadev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, although the great sage Angira knew everything, he inquired from the king in this way. Thus King Citraketu, desiring a son, bent low in great humility and spoke to the great sage as follows.
So, questioned by the knowledgeable sage in this way, King Citraketu, desiring a son, bent low in great humility and spoke to the great king as follows. Vikalpitaha means being made the subject in various ways. Though the sage knew the cause, he wanted to hear of the king's grief from king's own mouth. The sage knew he is a Trikalagnya, but still he wanted the king to speak out. In that way. Citraketur uvacha.
Citraketuruvacha
Bhagavan kim na viditam.
Bhagavan kim na viditam
Tapo jnana samadhibihi.
tapo jnana samadhivi
Yoginam dvasta papanam.
yoginam dvasta papanam
Bahir antah sharirishu.
bahirantaha sharirishu. King Citraketu said, O great Lord Angira, because of austerity, knowledge, and transcendental samadhi, you are freed from all the reactions of sinful life. Therefore, as a perfect yogi, you can understand everything external and internal regarding embodied conditioned souls like us.
Yeah. What is not known in all embodied beings, externally and internally by yogis who have destroyed all sins by austerity, knowledge, and samadhi. Tapo, jnana, samadhi, whose life is filled with tapasya, jnana, and samadhi, they know everything. They don't have to be told. But still, since you are asking, king, you already know everything, but still you are asking, I will respond. Tatapi pruchato bruyam.
Tathapi pritchato bhuyam
Brahman atmani chintitam.
Brahman atmani chintitam
Bhavato vidushastapi.
Bhavato vidushaschapi
Choditas svad anujnaya.
choditas tvad anujnaya. O great soul, you are aware of everything, yet you are asking me why I am full of anxiety. Therefore, in response to your order, let me disclose the cause.
Though you know everything, since you are asking, I will explain the cause of my despondency. So like that, the king is responding. Lokapalairapi pa Lokapalairapi prartyaha
Lokapalairapi prartyaha
samrajyaishvarya sampadaha
samrajyaishvarya sampada
nanandayanti aprajam
nanandayanti aprajam
mam kshutrut kamam ivapare.
mam shrutrut kamamiva pare. As a person aggrieved by hunger and thirst is not pleased by the external gratification of flower garlands or sandalwood pulp, I am not pleased with my empire, opulence, and possession, which are desirable even for the great demigods, because I have no son.
Just like if a person comes to one's home who was very much hungry, but the guests are receiving him by offering him garland, scent, and nice sitting places, this, that, so many things, but not feeding him anything. How will that person will be happy? So like that. Just as a person aggrieved of hunger and thirst is not pleased by the external gratification of flower garlands or sandalwood pulp. Similarly, I am not pleased with my empire, opulence, or possessions, which are desirable even for a great devatas, because I have no son. A hungry man wants food. A person like me wants to have a son. So, though I may have everything, but none of these things are giving me any pleasure to me. So, like that, the king is responding to the sage. And then, having told that, The king is requesting the sage. So please, you are a great sage. You can give anything to remove my misery. You can give anything to anyone for to remove their miseries. Now I am miserable because I don't have a son. Please offer me a son. Like that he is going to ask the sage. Tataha pahi mahabhaga
Tatah pahi mahabhaga
purvaihi sahagatam tamaha
purvaihi sahagatam tamaha
yata tatrema dushparam
yatha tatre madushparam
prajaya tadvidehina.
prajaya tad videhinah. Therefore, O great sage, please save me and my forefathers who are descending to the darkness of hell, because I have no progeny. Kindly do something so that I may have a son to deliver us from hellish conditions.
So please save me and my forefathers who will be descending to darkest hell, because we don't have son. There will be no Shraddha ceremonies performed. As a result of that, me and my parents and grandparents will all go to hell. So please save me and my forefathers by offering me a son. So like that. So he is worried about that. So this is one of the important consideration in the past among the great kings. Everyone want to have a son for two reasons. One is to carry forward their legacy. The second is to make sure that their debt for the forefathers is fulfilled properly. Devarshi Bhutaturnam Chapiturnam Nakinkaro Nayam Runicha Rajan. Even though we may, from Bhakti point of view, we may say that. So, but from Varnashrama Dharma point of view, having a son is considered to be one of the most important duty of the parents, married people, so that they will nullify their debt to forefathers. So that is considered.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, in previous ages, like if somebody doesn't have a son and to do the Shraddha ceremony or something, even though the person may have done a good karmas in that life and he may be very pious, but still he will go to hell because only because somebody is not giving him Shraddha.
See, one going to hell depends upon one's karma, but one falling from the heaven depends on not performing Shraddha. For example, a person had performed 90% piety, 10% impiety. So for 10% impiety, one may have to go to hell. But because one had chosen to go to heaven, he has gone to heaven. But one's tenure in heaven can continue further and further if their descendants are performing Shraddha rites properly. So as long as the Shraddha rites are getting performed, it is as good as you are performing punya for yourself. So the punya is increasing, one's tenure in Swarga also increasing. The moment one's descendants stop performing Shraddha rites, so your accumulation of more punya is stopped. So whatever punya was still there on your account, once you complete that, you have to leave heaven. And Papa is waiting for you to take to Sarga. So like that you have to understand.
Okay. So that important is offering Shraddha. Yeah. But it is not for the devotees, na Prabhuji?
It is not for the devotees who are Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam. If one is that kind of devotee, one need to do it. If one is not that kind of devotee, better to do it. Better do it.
Okay, thank you.
If one is qualified to deliver all one's force by one's bhakti, not by bhakti. I am saying by one's bhakti. By that bhakti practiced by a person, if he is qualified to deliver all one's forefathers, no need to offer Shraddha.
Like Prahlad Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Actually, I had doubts regarding this also before, that there are some people who perform all these rituals before even they pass away, thinking that their children may not do all these things. So how far it is valid? That's number one. And another thing is, a daughter can perform Shraddha for her parents? Can she
No.
do that?
No,
No.
not. Daughter is not supposed to do. Even
Okay.
in Sri Vaishnava tradition, when a
Huh.
Grahastha devotee wants to become sannyasi,
Huh.
they actually do final rites.
Huh.
Before taking sannyasa, they do these final rites, and the wife becomes widow, and then the husband takes sannyas order. Because Sri
Apparently,
Vaishnavas and
actually,
Madhvas consider Varnashrama duties as very important.
okay.
So some understand, even my sons, they are not even taking care of me while I am living. Why they will perform Shraddha rites after I die? Such kind of conditions, they perform their Shraddha rites before they die. In advance only. So what can be done? Kali Yuga. The children are so obedient, so responsible. So parents have to do their own Shraddha rites. So that's how the situations are happening.
Yeah, but it's valid, right? I mean, knowing this.
It's like Apad Dharma. It's valid means it is not supposed to be done regularly. It is Apad Dharma. So there is no other opportunity. What can be done? Or they give Lakshmi to some Brahmana and they request that Brahmana to do the Shraddha rites after their departure. That is also done sometimes.
Oh.
They request some Brahmana to do on behalf of their children. Even though some may have children, some may not have children. Even those who don't have children, they can also request some Brahmana to do for them.
Yeah, and you had mentioned once that even if suppose if I have only daughter, so I'm not kind of worried what will happen post my death. But you had said that even daughter's husband or her son can perform. Is that okay, right?
Daughter's son would be okay, but not a daughter's husband.
No, not husband. Okay. Okay.
If daughter has a son, he can do as an emergency. Or the best thing is the brother's children would be best thing.
Acha. Okay.
Yeah. Brother's children are as good as his one's own children. So in that way, they can do.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
But in such cases, the best is go to a holy place and request some Brahmana there and they will do. If there are no sons, only daughters are there. In that way it will be done. Sri Shuka Uvacha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sorry. Prabhuji, this Shraddha which is said, it is only one time Shraddha when the person dies, or the recurring Shraddha every year we do in Pitrupaksha and all, it applies for all, everything.
Applies for all.
Okay.
I don't know. As far as my understanding, it applies for all.
Because if somebody else has to perform in absence of a son for a person, then that person has to do it repeatedly. So means in Kali Yuga, it is very unlikely that somebody will take this.
What Kali Yuga? Even son also not able to do every year. Then what to speak of somebody else doing? अभी जितना हो सकता है उतना करने का अच्छा है.
Okay. Okay.
It is the bare minimum expression of our gratitude to our parents and their parents and their parents.
Okay.
It is not a big thing that one has to do so many arrangements or one has to spend so much time or money and all. Not like that. It is just half-day activity in a year out of 365.25 days. Not even half day, even 1/4 day, we can say. That much only.
Prabhuji, if someone chants for that soul on those days, will it have the same effect as performing Shraddha?
See, Mataji, again the same thing. You are trying to equate Bhakti with one of the Karmakanda ritual.
Oh.
So you chant for their spiritual well-being. There is not an issue. But don't equate with offering Shraddha. So I've chanted, I don't have to do Shraddha. Do Shraddha, do chanting also.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
See, it is like how if a person is hungry and there are two options. I don't know, this example may not be correct when I cannot say like that. I cannot compare it like that. I don't know how to tell, how to give you example. Like offering Shraddha is like offering food to the hungry person. And chanting is like, it is actually a spiritual benefit. We cannot, when we don't have any comparison for that. Of course, it is the ultimate benefit, but as of now, his need is food. First offering food and then offer Harinam. So he will be satisfied in both aspects. So in that way. The Shraddha rites are within the physical and psychological realm. They are within the material world purview. You are addressing their physical and mental needs in that way, gross and subtle needs. But offering bhakti, you are addressing their spiritual needs. If you are only providing spiritual needs and not taking care of their physical and mental needs, the person will go crazy.
Yeah.
So it is like for ourselves only. You think, without taking breakfast, lunch, dinner, and without drinking water, how many days you continue to chant?
Right. Not
So,
not even one day.
it is as simple as that. Very soon you are going to get this Nirjala Ekadashi.
Yeah.
So एक Nirjala Ekadashi करने के लिए one year we have to mentally prepare ourselves. So it is like that.
Okay, thank you for your understanding.
See, offering Shraddha means feeding them their meal, their regular quota of meal. Just like we are feeding ourselves every day 3 times, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, without fail. So let us feed them once in a year, if not every day, every time.
Yes,
Right?
Pooja,
Something like that we should see. Sri Shuka Uvacha
Sri Shuka Uvacha
Ityartita sa Bhagavan
Ityarthita sa Bhagavan
Krupalur Brahmana Suta
Kripalu Brahmana Sutta
Rapayitva Charum Tvastram
Shrapayitva Charum Tvastram
Tvastram Ayajad Vibhu.
Tvashta Ramayajad Vibhu. In response to the, sorry, Tvastram Avajayad Vibhu. I read from this book.
No problem. That is correct only. Tvastaram Ajayad Vibhu.
Sandhi Dikshat name. In response to the request of Maharaj Citraketu, Angira Rishi, who was born of Lord Brahma's mind, was very merciful towards him. Because the sage was a greatly powerful personality, he performed a sacrifice by offering oblations of sweet rice to Twashta.
So desperately, out of compassion, the Angira Rishi, who was born from Lord Brahma's mind, performed a Twastra sacrifice for the Devata Twashta after cooking a rice offering. He performed a nice offering, a nice sacrifice. At the end, as a Mahapurna Ahuti, he prepared a nice sweet rice and offered it to Yajna. And the Yajna Prasadam will be offered to the king's wife, one of the king's wife, the principal queen that is being indicated here. Jeshta Shreshta Chaya Rajno
Jeshta Shreshta Chaya Rajnu
Mahishinam Cha Bharata
Mahishinam Cha Bharata
Namna Krutadyuti Tasyai
Namna Krutadyuti Tastai
Yajnochistam Adadvijaha.
Yajno Cheshtam Adadvijaha. O Parikshit Maharaj, best of the Bharats, the remnants of the food offered in the Yajna were given by the great sage Angira to the first and most perfect among Citraketu's millions of queens, whose name was Krutadyuti. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji,
Ah,
in that previous shlok, this Twashta which is mentioned here, is it that same Twashta who had performed Yajna to get Citraketu? I mean, from whose Yajna Citraketu was born?
even though I also got the same doubt, maybe same, may not be same. We are not
Because
sure.
he's also one of the 8 Vasus, so he's a demigod.
No, he is one of the 12 Adityas.
Oh,
First,
yeah. Okay, okay.
he is
So
one of the
he's a
12
Devata
Adityas.
only.
He is also one of the Devata. He can also be offered oblations, but whether the same person or different, I don't know. He can be the same also, he can be different also. Because there are 3.3 crore Devatas. There is a great possibility that 2 Devatas can have same name.
Same name, yes. Okay, thank you.
Angira gave the remnants of food offered in the sacrifice to the most charming among Chitraketu's millions of queens, named Krutadyuti, whom he had married first. The first queen was given this sweet rice. He gave the cooked rice to the queen he had first married and who was the best in charm. So when I was preparing, I remembered Ramayana also. Though Dasharath Maharaj was so much attached to Kaikeyi, but after the yajna was performed, the first sweet rice, the first portion sweet rice was given to Kausalya only, because that is the custom. Because she was the first queen whom the king first married, she had the first right for anything that king has. So here also, though he had 30,000 queens, so the sage told him, you have to give first to your first wife only. Either he can give the sweet rice to the first wife alone, or he might have divided the whole rice into 30,000 parts and given to every wife. That would have been safe condition. Seems that sweet rice was very less, so it was given to first wife alone. So in that way. Ataha Nrupatim Rajan
Athaha Nrupatim Rajan
Pavitaikastavatmajaha
Bhavitaikastavatmaja
Harsa-Shoka Pradastubhyam
Harsa-Shoka Pradastubhyam
Iti Brahmasuto Yayau.
Iti Brahmasutau Yayo. Thereafter, the great sage told the king, O great king, now you will have a son who will be the cause of both jubilation and lamentation. The sage then left without waiting for Chitraketu's response.
Okay, then the sage told, my dear king, you have fed your wife the sweet rice, you will have a son, and name him Harsa-Shoka. Why? Because he will be the cause of jubilation as well as lamentation from the from the Rishi sage's point of view. The sage knew what is going to happen. He told without telling clearly, you are having a son, you are going to have a son. His name is Harsa-Shoka. That means he will give you Harsha as well as he will give you Shoka. So the sage did not tell what kind of Harsha he will give, what kind of Shoka he will give, because he does not want to see the king immediately in pain. At least let him be happy for a few days in that way. The sage thought, why should I tell him now how his son will be the cause of joy and sorrow? Anyway, the king will know this at the birth and death of the child. But it is necessary to say unwelcome words now itself. Otherwise, when in the future the king reproaches me, the king will say, my dear sage, I requested you to give me a son who is a Chiranjeevi, but you have given a son who will be killed within a year. What kind of who will be died within a year? What kind of blessing is this? The king will reproach me. So for that, to safeguard himself, He told the king, please name him Harsa-Shoka. Even if king asks this in the future, the sage will tell that I have already told he is the cause of your joy and lamentation. I am not at fault. So something like that. Without telling the truth clearly, the sage left immediately. The king thought, because my son will have many good qualities, he will give me joy. Because I will not be able to control him, since he will have more power than me, he will bring grief. Let that be. I will tolerate the grief. Thus the king became happy. So the king thought that okay, my son will have more power, more quality that will give me happy, and my son may give trouble to me, like King Vena gave trouble to Anga because Vena never followed the instructions of Anga. But it's okay. Instead of having no son, better to have some son who had some bad qualities, like that the king thought. But that is not the future awaiting for him. Future has something else. The sage left, and then what happened? After 9 months, the queen will deliver a baby.
Hare Krishna.
Sapita, Mataji.
Prabhuji, does this incident highlights that even whatever great sages' blessings or their interventions to bring some good fortune to a particular person, it cannot transcend the fate of a person.
No,
It will just keep a
they
momentary
can only
benefit.
postpone the fate. They can either postpone, they can do some modification in the fate, but it cannot be changed completely.
Yeah, right. Because even in current age also, I've seen such cases like where persons don't have children, and even if they adopt, this that child dies or something like that. So means that is what I was thinking, that fate cannot be changed with whatever interventions it can
Yeah.
give some, yeah, like that.
Fate cannot be changed completely. It can be postponed or it can be derouted here and there. Something.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Sapi tat prasanadev
तापि तत् प्राशनाद् एव
Citraketor adharayat
चित्रकेतोर्
garbam krutadyutir devi
गर्भं कृतद्युतिर्देवी
Kritikagneerivatmajam.
कृत्तिकाग्नेरिवात्मजम्. As Kritika Devi, after receiving the semen of Lord Shiva from Agni, conceived a child named Skanda Kartikeya. Krutadyuti, having received semen from Citraketu, became pregnant after eating remnants of food from the yajna performed by Angira.
So at the Kritikas, through Agni, had a child named Skanda. Krutadyuti, through Citraketu, became pregnant after eating remnants of food from the sacrifice. So if you know this story from Ramayana, so recently Ramanavami was over. Some of you might have heard this this from the uh, Balakanda. This pastime is very clearly mentioned there. Kritikas had a son through Agni. The Kritikas were only mothers of Skanda only because they first gave him breast milk. Agni was the father only because he preserved Lord Shiva's semen for many years. So many times the Skanda is said to be the son of Agni and Kritikas. That's why he's called Kartikeya also. But he's actually not their son. So Agni carried Lord Shiva's semen for so much distance and trying to deposit in Ganga water. Ganga said no way. And he requested Vayu to cool it. Still Vayu could not do it. Eventually, finally, Agni dropped the semen of Lord Shiva on the Himalaya mountains. It was dropping down, 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 flowing down, 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 and eventually it became cold. It delivered a baby boy. And the boy was crying a lot. Then in the nearby vicinity, the 6 wives of Agni were there. And they became so compassionate and they came to that baby boy and they offered their breast milk to the newborn baby. So the newborn baby was so hungry, he wanted to have more milk. He manifested 6 heads And with the 6 heads, he simultaneously drank the breast milk of the 6 mothers. That's how he became Kartikeya. Here, neither Indra, neither Agni, nor Krutikas are direct parents, but indirectly they are parents, because Agni carried the semen of Lord Shiva and Krutikas gave the first milk to the child. So they are considered to be his parents. Similarly, neither Citraketu nor Krutadyuti are supposed to bear a child. They are only having a child who is an imitation child. Because in both of their destinies, but the sage artificially gave them a child, a imitation child. This is only a temporary acceptance of a child. Something like that we have to understand. Even though today also we are saying that Harsa-Shoka was the son of Citraketu and Krutadyuti, it is like saying Kartikeya is the son of Agni and Krutikas. Like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Huh.
Prabhuji, like you mentioned now, because he expanded, he had 6 heads, and that is why he's called as Kartikeya. So, word Kartikeya, does it have any like?
No, not because he had 6 heads. He manifested 6 heads simultaneously drink milk simultaneously from the 6 mothers. By drinking their milk, he had become their son and they have become his mother. That's why he got the name Kartikeya. Kartikeya means Kurtika's son, like Arjuna is called Kaunteya, Kunti's son.
Okay. I thought Kartikeya has some meaning with 6. And
No,
Prabhuji,
no.
like, yeah, and now I understood. Yeah. And you mentioned now, Prabhuji, that it is like means saying that Kartikeya was the son of Kritika and Agnidev, like that. The same thing is here. So means Citraketu and here Krutadyuti's son means he belonged actually to somebody else.
He was actually not a son at all. He is only a Maya son.
Oh.
Because the sage, later on we'll discuss whatever.
Okay, fine.
Right now it is not the point of time. Tasya anudinam garbha
Tasya anudinam garbha
Shukla paksha ivodupa
Shukla paksha ivodupa
Vavrude surasenesha
Vavrude shurasenesha
Tejasa Shanakair nripa.
Tejasa Shanakai Nrupa. After receiving semen from Maharaj Citraketu, the king of Shurasena, Queen Krutadyuti gradually developed in her pregnancy. O King Parikshit, just as the moon develops during the bright fortnight.
Yeah. See, the point why what I am saying here is because the both of them are not destined to have a child, just like any other parents have child. But here, the sage, by some artificial arrangement, gave them a son. So that son is a son for them only temporarily. But still, we call him as their son. Just like Kartikeya afterwards never stayed neither with Agni nor with Krutikas. He again went back to Lord Shiva. He was staying with Lord Shiva. And eventually, after some time, Kartikeya himself got a new graha to stay. Now Kartikeya is staying in Mangala Graha. He is the king of Mangala Graha. He stays. His home is in Mangala Graha. He does not even stay in Kailash. So, but we call him Kartikeya the son of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, and we also call Kartikeya the son of Agni and Krutikas. So Kartikeya being the son of Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva is completely right. But being called by as the son of Agni and Krutikas is like a kind of temporary arrangement. Because he drank their milk, he is considering them to be mother. Ata kala upavrutte.
Atha kala. Sorry, Mataji.
No, continue, Mataji.
No, read.
अथ काल उपावृत्ते
कुमारा समजायत
कुमारा समजायत
जनयन् सूरसेनानां
जनयन् सूरसेनानां
शृण्वतां परमां मुदम्.
शृण्वतां परमां मुदम्.
I will read the translation. Thereafter, in due course of time, a son was born to the king. Hearing news of this, all the inhabitants of the state of Surasena were extremely pleased. Obviously, the king was trying working. He was waiting for a son from last, at least from the last 30,000 years. Obviously, the entire country will be very happy. And king celebrated great festivities by giving charity to the brahmanas, sages, and the public, everyone. Rushto Raja Kumarasya
हृष्टो राजा कुमारस्य
Snata Suchiralankritah
स्नातशुचैरलङ्कृतः
Vachayitva Shisho Viprair
वाचयित्वा शिशो विप्रैः
Karayam Asajatakam
कारयाम् आसजातकम्
Tebhyo Hiranyam Rajatam
तेभ्यो हिरण्यं राजतम्
Vastami Abharanani cha
वासांसि आभरणानि च
Graman Hayan Gajan Pradad
ग्रामान् हयान् गजान् प्रादाद्
Tenunam Arbudani Shat
धेनूनाम् अर्बुदानि षट्
Vavarshakamam Manyesham
ववर्षकामान् अन्येषाम्
Parjanya Iva Dehinam
पर्जन्य इव देहिनाम्
Dhanyam Yashasyam Ayushyam
धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम्
Kumarasya Mahamana.
कुमारस्य महामनः.
Joyful Citraketu, after bathing and by decorating himself with ornaments, engaged Brahmanas in offering benedictions to the child and performing the birth ceremony, Jatakarma ceremony. Just like when Lord Krishna appeared, the next day we had Nandosa festival. That is basically called Jatakarma ceremony. After cutting the umbilical cord from the mother, the child is bathed and given new clothing, and then his birth chart is prepared and his forecast is read, and some auspicious mantras are read for the well-being of the child. That is called Jatakarma ceremony. So that is being performed. During that ceremony, the king gave charity of gold, silver, garments, ornaments, villages, horses, and elephants, as well as 600 million cows to the Brahmanas. Not one cow, two cows. 600 million. Almost 0.6 billion cows in charity. Just like Vasudev, when Krishna was born, he already, 1 lakh cows in charity. He gave in mind. Later on, when he has resumed his position, he actually gave them in charity. Even Nanda Maharaj also gave on Nandosav at the time of Lord Krishna's appearance so many cows in charity. The cows decorated with the silken cloth and their horns decorated with golden jackets, golden and silver jackets. So something like that. As a cloud indiscriminately pours water on the earth, the generous King Citraketu, to increase the reputation and longevity of his son. See, Yashasyam Ayusham Kaumarasya. Yashasya, the Kirti, the glory of the son, and also the longevity of his son, distributed most valuable items to other citizens like rainfall. So even though king is doing all these things for the long life of the son, but the son had no long life, he died not untimely. The king gave most valuable things rather than worthless things to other persons since he was very generous. In spite of doing all these charitable activities, the king could not change his fate. So it is that strong. It is like that. Vrichralabdeta rajarshes
वृक्षालब्धेथ राजर्षे
तनयेनु दिनं पितुः
तनयेऽनुदिनं पितुः
यथा निःस्वकृच्छ्राप्ते
यथा निःश्वस्य पृच्छाप्ते
धने स्नेहो अन्ववर्धत
धने स्नेहोऽन्ववर्धता. When a poor,
wait मातुस्तु अतितरां पुत्रे
मातुस्त्वतितरां पुत्रे
स्नेहो मोह समुद्भवः
स्नेहो मोहसमुद्भवा
कृतद्युते सपत्नीनां
कृतद्युते सपत्नीनां
प्रजाकामज्वरो भवत्.
प्रजाकामज्वरो भवत्.
When a poor man obtains money after great difficulty, his affection for the money increases daily. Similarly, when King Citraketu, after great difficulty, received a son, his affection for the son increased day after day. Because King Citraketu had a son after long endeavor, so how can he not become attached to that son? The mother developed extreme affection for her son out of illusion. The other wives developed a feverish desire to have sons. Because there are so many wives, the king supposed to treat them equally, but king gave sweet rice to only one wife. So other wives, and this wife had become very happy having a son, and king also became very happy. So it is very quite natural, normal human tendency that other wives also developed a desire that let us also should have been have a son. Why only she? Why not us? So that developed, that envy developed. So the normally in this material world, whether something we should all have it or no one should have it. One had and one do not had, there is a disparity among all. So that is a big problem in this material world.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Becomes very famous, very popular all over the world. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, this at the Karmakandya level, charity and things like that, does it have any impact on the really it bestows someone good long life or auspiciousness like that?
I cannot say long life and all, but whatever life one have, one will have good life. All these pious activities, they actually give in in some extent. But if one is not at all destined to have, then whatever you do, it cannot.
Or it is like means when somebody gives like brahmanas receive cow, so naturally they will give blessings, na? So that brahmanas blessings count for somebody's good fortune like that.
Obviously, it will count. That blessings not only count in this life, very life, and it will count in the future also. But somebody's fate is already predetermined. We only get this much only. One will get that much only. But these blessings of the brahmana may come in the future life. This life one is not destined to have a son, but the brahmanas are blessing that may you have a good son. That blessing may come in the next life. So in that way, you have to say.
Okay, so it is like means whatever things are there, it is already fixed match kind of a thing. That whatever the one's fate is, that is going to come.
The major our life are already fixed. You cannot alter them. What we do, whatever good things we do now, we may get in the next life. If something is fixed for this life, we cannot change it.
Okay, but whatever we do in this life, that will have some good effect in this life also, no, Prabhuji? It is not that everything will be seen in the next life.
Yes. See, that's what I said. Na, even previously, because of our destined karma, we are supposed to get some big disease. So whatever treatment you take, that will not be cured. But because of our day-to-day activities, we may get small diseases like fever, cold, headache. वो तो cure हो जाएगा. Whether you take medicine or you don't take medicine, after 1-2 days it will be cured. It is like that you should see.
Okay, so what I understood from this, whatever good karmas or good thing, piety, material piety, in that sense, one does, that may not change one's fate, but that will shape his future life, because that good karmas
See,
will be with him, na, like
one
that.
second. It does not mean that it will not have effect. Whatever pious activities one performs, one gets results either today or tomorrow.
Our next life's fate
You
will be dependent on these good karmas, na, like,
current activities,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Understood.
Okay, it's already 8:30. We'll just take these three last verses. So we'll close at 40th verse. Citraketur atipritir
चित्रकेतुर् अति प्रीतिर्
yata dare prajavati
यथा दारे प्रजावती
na tatanyeshu sanjagne
न तथान्येषु संजज्ञे
balam lalayatonvaham
बालं लालयतोऽन्वहम्
तापर्यतप्यन् आत्मानं
तापर्यतप्यन्त आत्मानं
गर्हयन्तोऽभ्यसूयया
गर्हयन्तोऽभ्यसूयया
आनपत्येन दुःखेन
आनपत्येन दुःखेन
राज्ञश्चानदरेण च
राज्ञश्चानादरेण च
दिक् प्रजां श्रियं पापं
दिक् अप्रजां स्त्रियं पापं पापाम्
पत् प- पत्युश्चागृहसम्मतां
पत्युश्चाग्रहसम्मताम्
सुप्रजाभिः सपत्नीभिर्दासीम्
सुप्रजाभिः सपत्नीभिर्दासीम्
इव तिरस्कृतम्.
इव तिरस्कृतम्.
As King Citraketu fostered his son very carefully, his affection for Queen Krutadyuti, who bore the son, increased, and gradually he lost affection for other wives. This is the second mistake. First mistake, king gave the sweet rice only to the first wife alone. Second mistake, he began to spend more time, full time with the first queen only, with the son and queen only. He is not even looking at other queens. The other queens lamented and condemned themselves with hatred because of the distress of being sonless and because of the king's neglect. The other queens became unhappy because did not have any son and because the king did not care for them. A wife, and they began to criticize themselves, saying that a wife who has no sons is considered by her husband to be fit for sending off to the forest and is criticized like a maid servant by her co-wives who have children. Certainly, such a woman is condemned as sinful. The sonless wife is seen by the husband as worthy of sending to live in the forest. Just like in the case of Dhruva, also we saw the same thing. So when Suruchi spoke very harshly, Dhruva went to his mother weepingly, and Dhruva's mother Suniti said, "Yes, your father does not even consider me as a maid servant, then what to speak of considering me as a wife? So since he does not even consider me as a maid servant, and the king may not consider you as his son. So please don't be angry with the words of your stepmother. Your stepmother spoke correct words only, truth only. So in that way. Even in spite the Suniti had a son, she was treated as very neglectfully. Then what to speak of the wife who has no sons? So that's what they are saying. So we are not neither respected by the king, and then we are not even respected by the queen who had son. She is treating us more less than a maid servant, and the king will think that you people are good for nothing. Better go to forest. Why are you causing burden to me? Something like that. One day the king may say, like that they are feeling themselves. So because of these ill feelings, they have gone to the state that they will kill the newborn baby. Either all of us should have children or no one should have children. Why? How can she alone can have children? She should not have any children. Kill him. Something like that. So this is what happens when there is disparity. So a king or a master should be careful. Same thing happens in our community also. When some people get attention of Maharaj for more time, others become angry. How can only they are getting association of Maharaj? Why Maharaj is not giving us his association to us? We have been asking for so many months. How can they get the benediction of their son getting name giving ceremony, or their son getting annaprasana ceremony, etc.? Why not our children? So there is a disparity always. So it is like that. Okay, Hare Krishna. I hope no questions are there. We'll stop here for today. It's already 8:30. Okay. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Dhanravad.
Prabhuji. Thank
Prabhuji,
Thank
exam
you.
fifth na Prabhuji.